Hey, how's it going, guys? Benny Childs, founder of the Teach Me to Fish Effects trading community. And in this video, I'm back with the weekly Forex forecast for the week of Sunday, March 13th, 2022. Before I get into it, guys, I want to invite you guys to number one, if you're not yet a subscriber, feel free to head over to the Teach Me to Fish Effects YouTube channel and subscribe. If you're not a part of the mentorship program, I would like to invite you guys to come and select any level that you would like to be on to be a part of the community. I have 3 levels. The trade ideas will give you access to the areas of interest that I'm looking to take trades from. The profitable trader will give you access to the 100 plus, I believe I'm at 166 trading investments that I actually chart and track. This is very good for if you are a day trader, long-term investor, or a short-term investor. And then the next is the professional trader. It gives you access to the trade ideas, the charts that I chart, as well as my signature trade. I'm not doing the live Zoom sessions right now, but what I'm offering is a free 15-minute one-on-one session for you guys per month. So if you would like, you can join there. All right, let's go ahead and jump over into the forecast. And then also, before I do that, guys, I want to mention the community tab is where I share all of the trade ideas for those members who have access to the trade ideas. All right. And again, just keep in mind, these are not signals, but these are just areas of interest that I'm looking for my confirmation setup to take trades from. I minimally look for a 4-to-1 risk reward, but again, based on market structure and the market cycle, will actually determine exactly how many pips we're able to get out of the trade. But again, I go over that in the professional trader mentorship. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump over into this weekly forecast. All right, we're going to start on the dollar index. All right, I currently have for the dollar index short-term institutional bias of shorts. Okay, this larger red area is a distribution, is an institutional distribution area. We are sitting inside of a 4-hour supply zone that we could see the market react off of here. We do see that at the close of Friday. Let's see if we can blow this up a little bit for you guys. At the close of Friday, we did close out with a doji candle. So that is a sign of exhaustion, and so it is very possible that when this market opens up, we could see some movement to the downside. Now, again, that is the short-term bias. Of course, we're going to have to watch for how the supply and the demand zones on the 4-hour time frame are respected or removed to really get our sense of where this market is going to go and to determine our areas of interest. Now, I do have several demand areas that have not been mitigated yet that we could possibly see this market go a little higher off of. However, if we start to see the removal of these demand zones, then of course we will know that we are no longer in an uptrend, but we are on a downtrend. Okay. All right, so currently we are on an uptrend. We are sitting again inside of 4-hour demand, which is also sitting inside of an institutional distribution area. So again, it's very possible we can see the dollar index fall. All right. So with that being said, if the dollar index if the short-term bias for the dollar index is if the bias is short, that means for each pair that we have here on the dollar side, it will be short. Okay. All right. So we are sitting in 4-hour, again, 4-hour demand institutional distribution. So again, look for and wait for confirmation to start taking this to the downside. However, if we do reach this 4-hour demand right here, we want to make sure that we do capitalize on that if that is respected. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to Aussie USD. Aussie USD, the short-term institutional bias is long for this. The Australian dollar is increasing and the USD side is decreasing. All right, so now let's take a look at the market structure. We do see here in the immediate past that this leg that we're on is on an up structure. All right, uptrend structure. We do see where let's see, grab this. We do see where demand was formed and respected. Okay, again, demand being formed and respected. Okay, demand being formed and respected. All right, so we're back here at the proximal of an institutional, at the proximal of a 4-hour demand with a little bit of rejection here. Okay, we saw that it tapped that proximal line and pulled back up, closed here. So what I would do, I would simply wait for confirmation to take this to the long side. Preferably, I like to see the 50% of a zone tapped into, and I typically look for my confirmation signal around the 50%. Now that does mean that there are a lot of times, all right, there are a lot of times that I miss out on the trade because, again, I'm not looking to take the trade from the proximal line, but I'm looking to take the trade from a more premium discounted area. So for me, that would be the 50% inside of a zone, which is typically in turn, if we throw a fib, throw that back on, let's throw a fib here. Okay, and let's see how much we have retraced back. Okay, so we did come into the 61.8% retracement, coming back, and we broke through this 4-hour demand zone that was created. Let's circle that for you guys to make sure that you can see that. Okay, so there is a 4-hour demand that was created here that the market came down and respected a tad. So if you guys don't know, I really like the 78.6% retracement or premium discount level, which in turn we do have a 4-hour demand zone nested here. So short-term bias for Aussie USD is institutional bias is long. So of course I will be keeping an eye out for confirmation around the demand areas. And again, guys, I really like to see if I can get confirmation around the 50%. And based on, initially I am shooting for a 4-to-1 risk reward trade, but again, based on market structure, for instance, we do have imbalance sitting right here. I may shoot for imbalance or for this high here, possibly seeing the market take out some liquidity here. All right, so I'm gonna set that one here, and I don't think I set one for the Dixie, but we'll go back. So I would set one here, look to see if I get a confirmation trade here. But again, I really like this zone right here, again, because it is sitting behind the 78.6% retracement. Let's see if we can throw that back on for you guys. All right, it is sitting below the 78.6% retracement, as well as sitting on top of a institutional accumulation area. So again, of course, this is the preferred trade for me. Okay, just below there, and maybe targeting this imbalance if it has not been filled when the market opens, and that gives us a 5-to-1 risk reward trade, excuse me, for here. But again, we want to keep a lookout for this area or this demand zone being respected, targeting initially that imbalance right there. Okay, all right, so that's what I'm kind of looking for Aussie USD. And keep in mind, we can always get a retracement back to these supply areas and look to take a trade going downward. Let's see, we can look to take a trade going downward until we reach those areas of demand that may fall in line with the short-term directional institutional bias. So you can always play the market both ways. We just kind of have to wait and see what it is that that plays out, really. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I'm doing all the sniffling. But all right, let's jump back over to the Dixie. Looking for sales again. We've come back up here into this 4-hour supply. All right, so it's very possible we could get a confirmation signal here. Maybe, initially aim for the 4-to-1 risk reward trade. So that's that there for you guys on the Dixie. And hopping back over to Aussie. That's what we're looking for here on Aussie as well. There you go, so you guys can take a look at that as well. All right, moving right along to pound USD. Take a quick sip here. Pound USD. Short-term institutional bias is consolidation for the week. But again, we like to play what we see. All right. So currently, most recent past, we can see that we have been on a downtrend with the creation of supply. Okay, we have had creation of supply here, but we've had creation of supply here. This was actually tested and respected. Creation of supply has not been tested yet. Creation of supply that has been tested and respected, as well as here as well. Hope you guys can see that. All this right here are 4-hour supplies. Here, let's blow this up for you guys. All these are 4-hour supplies that were created, all right, and then later came back and tested, created, mitigated, pushed off. All right, so now this one was created, Okay, then eventually it came in, it was mitigated, and it pushed off. All right, so again, the short-term institutional bias is consolidation for pound USD, but it seems that we are having a respecting of the 4-hour supplies. Now we are or have touched down and tapped into this institutional accumulation area where we also have a 4-hour demand resting here. All right, so what I would do is simply wait for price to possibly come back into here, retest, and see if we can get a confirmation signal for maybe a 4-to-1, which kind of it works perfectly for that 50% line or area within this demand before we could possibly see the market push back up and maybe bounce in between these 4-hour zones or bounce in between these institutional distribution and accumulation and distribution areas respectively. All right, so from the onset, yes, I'll be looking to take sales on pound USD and just monitor the supply and demand zones that are created within this pair. Okay, all right. Let's see now. USDCAD, moving right along to USDCAD. Short-term institutional bias for USDCAD is consolidation. All right, we do see where demand was created, and on the onset, respected here. And it nested right down into our preferred area to take this trade from, and it may possibly bounce back up into this 4-hour and continue down. Let's take a look here at most recent price action. It has been consolidating, kind of moving up slowly, but then we had these lows that were taken out, and then we had this high that was taken out. So we may get a slow move upward, but mimicking consolidation, all right, before we get a breakout. But what we're going to do is simply, again, watch the supply and demand zones that are created, look for our confirmation signals, and get into that trade. So again, currently we've had the creation of 4-hour supply that has yet to really be mitigated, except for this one. Looks like we got a small mitigation here, and then a push off. So I think initially what I would be looking for this pair is to maybe take it short if we get the confirmation signals that we look for, and maybe initially aim for that 4-to-1 risk reward trade on this pair, but again, keeping a lookout on the consolidation. But again, as long as supply and demand is created and respected, we can take these trades. Okay, all right, moving right along to EURUSD. EURUSD, short-term institutional bias is consolidation. We are sitting inside of institutional accumulation. We had a 4-hour supply zone that was created. Let's go ahead and throw that on here for you guys. It was created, but it has been mitigated. So that's why I did not wish to put that on the screen. We can see where this wick came in, and it actually mitigated it, respecting that supply. Okay, we've had a creation of 4-hour supply here. All right, that was created and respected. More 4-hour supply here. I wouldn't really say 4-hour supply on that one right there, because of it's just kind of like it wicked into this wick. But of course, on a lower time frame, maybe like the hour. Let's see. Maybe like on the hour, there was probably a zone that was created. Okay, yeah, we can see where there was a 1-hour demand zone. Let's grab our square. Throw the magnet back on. Okay. Let's do that. Let's drop this over to supply. All right, so we do see where this 1-hour supply was created and respected. More 1-hour supply created and respected here. More 1-hour. Let's make sure I'm showing my work just like in school, right? Here I'll grab the square tool again. All right, so this one was created, price came down, mitigated it, respected it, and kept pushing down. Okay, now we did have 1-hour supply that had been created along here. All right, but we can see that over here these supplies were taken out. Okay, here. All right, they were taken out. This one here was respected and gave us a push down. Okay, now let me jump back over to the 4-hour, because that is where we're actually taking our forecast off of. Alright guys, so what is this? Okay, so again, institutional short-term bias is consolidation. However, again, the downtrend has been respected. Now we will have to see how this 4-hour demand zone right here, we have to see how this one plays out, guys. Switch this over to demand. Okay, we have to see how this one plays out, because again, we are sitting in institutional accumulation here with 2 4-hour demand zones. We do have a 4-hour supply zone that was created here, one that was created and respected here. So we're gonna find out which one of these win, which one of these are the most respected, or if we're gonna just get this back and forth here, making it a little bit more difficult to take 4-hour trades. However, we may be able to drop down to the lower time frames and maybe trade off of a 15-minute zone or 30-minute zone or something like that. Initial thoughts as far as taking trades. I mean, we are sitting in 4-hour demand. We have tapped into the 50% of that 4-hour demand. We are sitting inside of institutional distribution, so we may see a push up into or a push up in price. So really guys, this would be kind of hard to tell based off of the 4-hour. So I would want to possibly wait and see how these zones are respected or how they are removed before I could actually throw out an area of interest that I would be interested in taking. But again, short-term institutional bias is it is consolidation. We are on a downtrend, so I'm gonna have to recant a statement. Maybe I would possibly wait to see if we can get confirmation signal off of this 4-hour right here, and maybe take this to 4-hour 4-to-1. All right, I don't really see any imbalance. I like the 4-to-1. We could possibly target these lows. This low was taken out. We've had a little bit of manipulation here with this low being taken out by this 4-hour candle before it pushed back up. So again, yeah, we would just need to see these demand areas here being respected in order to take a trade to the upside. But on the onset, I'm going to be looking for sells on this pair, the EURUSD. All right, USDJPY, short-term institutional bias for this is short. Okay, we are sitting in institutional distribution here with the creation of 4-hour demand that has been created and respected. Let me adjust my computer here. We see where it was created there, created here, and respected, created here, and respected. So right now, just because all signs are pointing to this to be on the upside, I will be looking to take shorts once we start to take out these demand areas. So simply put, I'll be looking for this demand to be taken out and maybe come up to be retested, all right, as a turncoat zone, all right. Or if you guys trade order blocks, the breaker block type deal, but and maybe possibly taking this to a 4-to-1 or to the filling of this imbalance right here, which is only a 3-to-1. This imbalance will give us definitely our 4-to-1. All right, so I'll be looking for that to take place. If we get a break, again, we want to get a break of that zone, come back, retest, give us a confirmation signal, and possibly take this down to here. Now, if we come in and it does not break and it is respected, then of course we can look to take a buy and set our target based on market structure. All right, and when I say market structure as far as targets, I'm looking for imbalance that needs to be filled, as well as possible highs and lows. It's possible highs and lows to target as well. Okay. Let's see if we actually have any of that. Kind of have a little bit of imbalance up here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, I'm sorry about that. It's a hotline today. Here, let's throw this. I mean, when I say a small amount of imbalance, it's a really small amount of imbalance, but the market will at times target these areas. So again, if you're going to take a trade to the upside, possibly target the filling of that imbalance there. So, but again, based on the short-term institutional bias, I will be looking for sales. And again, we could possibly get the removal of this demand, come back, have it retested, and take a trade from here to here. Okay, or we could have 4-hour supply be created here, and then of course we will wait for supply to be tested and respected. So maybe create supply, down, respect supply, and then take a trade from there. Okay. All right. USD Swiss short-term institutional bias is short. All right. Let's see where we can possibly take this market short. It looks like we are heading into a 4-hour demand, 4-hour supply here. 4-hour supply was created at this point. Supply. 4-hour supply was created, but it was not respected. All right. Price absolutely pushed through. Okay. All right. So let's get rid of that one. So that one was not respected, but it could be a little bit of market manipulation. All right. We could see ourselves heading into this 4-hour supply up here and then selling off. However, we do like to wait and watch for price action. So if we do get price to come back into this 4-hour demand, of course, we can look to see if we get a confirmation signal. If not, we can look for the removal of this demand zone. There's actually a demand zone that was here, but it was mitigated. So I would be looking for the removal of this demand zone right here. And maybe, I'm sorry guys, and maybe taking a retest, look for confirmation and trade off. Okay. Or maybe trade off of some newly created 4-hour supply here. Okay. So short-term institutional bias for USD Swiss is short. All right, so we will be looking possibly to take a trade off of this 4-hour demand, which is somewhat nested into an institutional distribution area here. We have another 4-hour here, another 4-hour here. All right, so we just want to be on the lookout for how the market respects these areas of supply, as well as the institutional distribution that is here, because the market could come up here before tumbling down. So again, as the market goes into these 4-hour zones, we look for our confirmation signal to take the sales, as well as confirmation signals into this 4-hour demand to take some buys as well. So that's USD Swiss. All right. USD Mexican peso short-term institutional bias is short. I do like how we're looking. Most recent price action, we did see an uptrend. However, we did see the creation of this 4-hour supply that was created and respected. This 4-hour supply that has not yet been respected. We do have 4-hour imbalance sitting here, so we could see price come up to fill the imbalance before pushing off, or we may see price continue to respect this 4-hour supply here and just continue to push off. So we may have missed the train off of this 4-hour supply, but I do see the potential of another 4-hour supply that may be created here. So for me, technically that has been mitigated, but potentially, guys, we could have 4-hour supply here, where we could then see the market come out, retest and respect that and take this market down through the 4-hour supplies, or maybe into this institutional accumulation area here. So again, short-term bias for USD Mexican peso is short. So we'll be looking for the respecting of supply confirmation signals and take these trades to maybe just try to do a minimum of 4 to 1. Okay, or we could just fill this imbalance right here. Okay. All right, that's the USD Mexican peso. Next up is the NZDUSD. Short-term institutional bias is long. We are sitting in 4-hour demand, so we may see the market bounce off of this area, taking out this supply. Here, let's do this. We could see the market bounce off this area, take out this supply, maybe give us a retest as a turncoat zone, and continuing up into these 4-hour supplies where the market could tumble, or it could continue to push higher. Okay, so we are looking to take buys. Now we do have 4-hour demand down here that has been mitigated. But the thing about zones, all right, even though they have been mitigated, we can still find support in these zones, okay, where the market could go up. But the reason, again, I like to showcase unmitigated zones, because the probability of taking a trade off of that zone is a lot higher. We do see where this 4-hour demand was created and respected here. So again, we may or may not. All right. We closed out with a somewhat of a doji candle right here. We may come in with a bullish engulfing candle, all right, pushing this market up. All right, but again, we could come back down into, let's see, I'm just taking a look for the best placement for our fib. I'm going to go with this low right here. Let's see. All right, we're sitting at the 61.8, but we do have one nested. We do have a couple nested inside or near the 78.6, where even though it was, again, mitigated, we could see more support or more orders that may need to be filled. So again, guys, like I always say, wait for confirmation. All right, mark out your zones, wait for confirmation, and that's where you want to take your trades at. Okay, let's see. This is somewhat looks like it's been mitigated. This zone has been mitigated. This zone has been mitigated. This zone here has been mitigated. This zone right here is in the process of mitigation, and so we'll just have to see if this holds up for us to possibly take our trade here. See, that imbalance only gives us a 2 to 1. So again, I like to aim for a minimum of 4 to 1. Okay, and just see how that plays out for us. All right, Bitcoin. Short-term institutional bias for Bitcoin is long. We are sitting inside of 4-hour demand. The market closed out here on March 11th with a indecision candle. Again, I would love to see this pair come down into the 50% right here, and we can actually make our zone be this because that was mitigated, and this one was in the process of being mitigated. So we could see it push up higher into this institutional distribution area, and maybe see the respecting of one or two of these. Well, not one or two. One of them is going to have to be respected, but see the respecting of one of these 4-hour demand zones and possibly pushing out. But on the onset, again, I would be looking to take some buys. I do like the fact that we do have imbalance down here that could possibly still be targeted to be filled, and maybe taking a trade off or from the 50% of this 4-hour demand right here. We would definitely have to wait for confirmation because that is a really big stop loss. So that would be our 4 to 1. So Bitcoin, again, looking for it to go long. We did close out with a doji candle right here, so it's very possible that we could get some pushing to the upside. If we do, I will want to see how these 4-hour supply zones are respected, or if they be removed, to possibly take some shorts from here. But from the onset, we're looking for some to take some buys from these zones. So again, indecision. It could tumble down, fill in that gap, give us our 50% confirmation entry, and push up. Okay, but again, just watch for the zones, guys, and as always, wait for confirmation. All right, moving on to gold. Gold short-term bias is long. You guys know how the stock market is doing. If you're here in the U.S., S&P 500 has yet to find a really good solid floor right now. So a lot of people are pumping their money into gold, which is basically a security asset. We have a lot going on with the war, so people like to put money in things that are tangible. So I can definitely see this pair definitely going up. We looks like we've had like a manipulation of this zone, of this demand zone right here. That was created and the lows taken out, but we did get a push up. I would want to see gold drop down into this 1936.47 4-hour demand, and maybe look to take buys from here. I don't think we'll get a retracement all the way down to the 1909.5 demand zone on gold. However, we are sitting inside of institutional distribution. All right, 4-hour zone created. Really not mitigated, but it seems to have been respected. We do have imbalance that still needs to be filled here as well as here as well. So we could see this market push up, fill that imbalance, push down into one of these 4-hour demand zones, or even this institutional accumulation zone before seeing the market push up again. But again, institutional bias for gold is, the short-term institutional bias for gold is long, but of course, again, we want to see how price respects and creates our supply and demand zones. All right, moving along for silver, pretty much the same thing for silver as far as the institutional short-term bias. All right, we're looking to be taking this pair long. I have a couple of unmitigated, quite a few unmitigated zones that we could take longs, from. We actually have unmitigated demand right here. I'm going to go ahead and call that demand. right here where it was created. Price pushed out of it and actually came down, and it looks like it tapped the proximal line of that institutional demand, which we see right here. All right, so it's very possible, it's very possible we could see price buy off of this zone here at the 25.7 zone, push through this 4-hour supply, and push into the institutional distribution of silver right here. So again, we just want to wait and watch how price reacts and responds to these demand zones, seeing if they're going to be respected. Wait for our confirmation trades and take this bad boy long. All right. All right, let's move right along to US oil. US oil short-term institutional buyers. It's going to be short for us. So we want to see how price pushes up into these demand zones and see if we can get a confirmation trade to take this to the short side. All right. Now, yes, oil is going up, but you have to keep in mind and remember that those major investors are looking to take profit from the profit that they have already made. So I can definitely see that US oil could be short for the entire week, a portion of the week. All right. But again, we just have to see how price respects the supply zones that we have here. And if these are taken out, possibly see if we can trade these as turncoat zones, or see if we can trade off of some 4-hour demand zones that will be created as price moves throughout the week. But we do have quite a few unmitigated demand zones as well as supply zones that we could look to be taking trades off of, as well as imbalance that still needs to be filled on both sides, guys. So again, with a market like this, any market, you just want to see how the zones are respected or if they are being removed. So again, short-term institutional bias for US oil is short. So on the onset, I would like to see how price responds to this zone here. Okay, see if it's respected. Maybe take a 4-to-1 from this zone. Even see how this one is respected, okay, or if it's going to be removed. But short-term bias is short, so I'm going to be looking to take some short trades again, unless we get into some demand areas and we get some confirmation signals to take this long. Okay. Last but not least, guys, the S&P 500 short-term institutional bias is short for this pair. We do have unmitigated 4-hour supply here, so we could possibly see price push up, all right, into here. Maybe after completely filling this gap, maybe see it push up and take some trades short, or see price come down into this 4-hour demand, push up, and then we can further take some trades short. Now we are sitting inside of what I have marked out as institutional accumulation. So we could see maybe price even come down into this 4-hour demand, which is within the 50% line of the institutional accumulation before shooting up. Okay, but again, the bias is consolidation, but what points we are going to consolidate between, I'm not 100% certain. So we just have to see how the market plays with the demand zones that it has created. So, all right, guys, that is going to be it for this week's weekly forecast. I hope that it has been educational and insightful for you guys. Again, if you would like, you can. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to jump over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. If you're interested in being a part of the mentorship program, you can do that as well. Feel free to rewind this video. Take a look at the analysis that I have presented to you. Compare it with your own analysis, and as always, guys, wait for confirmation. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, if you're not a subscriber, please feel free to or consider subscribing, consider liking or disliking this video, and commenting below telling me what you think. All right, guys, until next time, always remember, if you stay in God, you will stay in control. Happy pep fishing, and always wait for confirmation. Bye-bye.